Welcome to another episode of Black Man Thoughts. You know, um, what we talking today, man? We talking the heavyweight division. We're talking Deontay Wilder. We're talking to Tyson Fury, and we're talking to Anthony Joshua and Dylan White. Now, you know, 2020 has been a very interesting year. 2019 has been an interesting year. We saw the two Fury fights with Deontay Wilder. We saw Dylan White a lot. We hear Dylan White a lot. We hear a lot of media a lot criticizing Deontay Wilder. So let's slow it down. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury won. A lot of critics say, Tyson Fury easily won. I'm not going to say he easily won. I'm not going to say that. I think he outboxed Deontay Wilder. That's for facts. But Deontay Wilder is not one that's ever going to win in a pure boxing style. That's just not his style. He's a knockout artist. So he's always going to lose the boxing match. But he's going to win on a knockout. He's going to win on how many times he dropped you. So I'm not going to say that he lost easily. It ended up being a draw. Right? So there was a draw. Anthony Joshua fights Andy Ruiz. Bow, shouts the world. Beats AJ. AJ fights Anthony Ruiz again. Anthony, lost a lot of weight. We know what happened with Ruiz. He ate himself to oblivion and he ate himself out of the fight. Andy Ruiz is an extremely talented fighter, but in boxing, it's a chess match. It really is. It's not just go out there, put together combinations and win. It's not. It's you have to be able to touch your opponent. And as fast as Andy Ruiz's hands is and as hard as he can hit, he was never able to keep up with Anthony Joshua on movement. That's a big deal. He lost. He lost handily. AJ is not going to stand in there with Anthony Ruiz, but the art of boxing is to what? Hit and not get hit. So you can't really get mad at him for understanding that Ruiz maybe was a better puncher. And I'm not going to stand in there. I wouldn't say better. He was a risky puncher to stand in there to fight this dude. So he boxed him. He danced around the ring, boom, boom, moved, did what he had to do. Here come Tyson, Anthony Ruiz, first Mexican heavyweight, lost. He ended up losing all the belts. Anthony Joshua remained, back, and he gets to become the king again. Okay, the WBA. He got 3 belts. Now, the big one, Fury, Wilder, 2. A lot of hype. Man. You can't write this type. Perfect. 6'7", first fight, 209, 212, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, 6'9", came in at 270-something pounds. Deontay Wilder ended up coming in at 231, I think. So I think he ended up gaining more weight than Fury at 273. That's a mammoth of a man. He's a big dude. And it was too much for Deontay Wilder. It was too much man in there to be that skilled in boxing against Deontay Wilder. And then someone who now hooked up with the Crunk Gym and teach do not back down and to keep coming forward. He's like a pit bull. He's coming after you with everything he's got. He's swinging, trying to punish you. That's the crunk gem. Deontay Wilder's weaknesses was all exposed from his terrible defense, his movement. Everything just seemed off. But let's just slow down from there because after the fight, Deontay Wilder said something. I had some problems, I guess, with his legs. Okay. Then he says the suit was too heavy and I couldn't have tried it on. Got everybody in the uproar, but my argument to that is he's responding to something being asked. And I don't think he's saying he lost because of that. He just said it wore his knees out, wore his legs out. That's a different situation saying I'm lost because of the suit, or hey, it's a little bit heavier, tired my legs, but hey, whatever it is, you know, it is what it is. And everybody took that and ran with it. And I can't wait to, Deontay Wilder comes back and it responds to all these accusations because you can't on 1 minute. A lot of people say, "Oh, he didn't look right from the get go." Well, maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's the reason he didn't look right, man. If you saw the fight, Deontay Wilder was pacing back and forth the whole time, stretching, pacing back and forth, walking. He didn't look settled. He didn't look at peace. Fury laid up, laughing, giggling, ended up being carried out by women. He didn't even use his legs. Now, there's no excuse. Even if you slow it down, Deontay Wilder has been shown saying that he's been training with 40-pound vests and stuff like that. And that's fine. You 6'9", 200 and something pounds, a 40-pound vest, shouldn't tie you down. But I put it to you like this. Playing football, playing football in my life and working out and training. A lot of people work out and train, right? They put on these vests and they run, get endurance. Go and ask a marathon runner to put on a 40-pound vest on the day he's about to run his marathon. It's going to be a lot different than when you train. It is because you have emotions. You have your body's going to deal with it differently because now you're about to really get into the trenches with it. That's something different than I'm just training knowing nothing's going to happen. So it is going to be a little bit different on your body when it's time to fight. I'm not making excuses on it, but it is going to be different. We can't act like it's not going to be different, especially this is your rematch. It's Black History Month. You paid for the suit. This is the biggest fight damn near since Ali Foreman. It's going to be different. And then people say, "Oh, well, he couldn't even get his leg over the rope when he went to try to get in." Well, maybe that's the reason. Okay. Off that fight comes in. I watched this fight like 3 or 4 times. And people say, "Oh, Fury dominating from start to finish." I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. If you watch it non-biased, Deontay Wilder was throwing the jab very well. The first 2 rounds, he was moving. The first round, he was moving. The first round, you can literally say Deontay Wilder won that. And if not, you can say it was a tie, but you will never say that Fury just dominated him. He didn't. It was a good first round, filling each other out. Good second round, filling each other out. They both, Deontay Wilder was hitting with the right few times. Fury just ate it. Just what it is. He's 6'9", 273. This is big time division. I don't knock everybody out when you get to that level. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. What happened though, at the end of the second round, something happened. In the third round, it continued. Fury started really rushing. That's when you don't start seeing Fury getting on top of him on the ropes until you hit the third round. Once that happens, Deontay Wilder was a different person. This is before the knockdown. This is when Wilder was, I mean, Fury had him against the ropes. He was leaning on him. He was hitting him. Then all of a sudden, you had that historic behind the head shot. You could say both of them do it. I don't care. But it was a different tactic that Fury used from the first two rounds than he did in the third round. Because I think he realized that Deontay Wilder was ready the first two rounds. It wasn't until the third round where he really started to be more physical. He took the fight to Deontay Wilder physically with his body, not necessarily with his punching. It was with his body, having him against the ropes, weighing him down. You start seeing Deontay Wilder tripping all over the fucking ring. I mean, it started being real sloppy for Deontay Wilder, but then again, couple that with the height of the emotions, Deontay Wilder not sitting down, not resting, not just being at peace, and now you got somebody 6'9", 273 weighing on you, punching you all over. He was done. His body just couldn't take no more, and end up getting a stoppage. He ended up getting a stoppage, and that's fine. Deontay Wilder has said it before, and I'm glad. I'm glad it kind of happened like that because a lot of time that we look for the Floyd Mayweather effect. Everybody can't be 50 something and 0. Everybody can't be 50 and 0. Everybody can't have these Rocky Marciano, Floyd Mayweather numbers. It makes boxing boring when that happens. So I remember a few years ago, Deontay Wilder had said, a year ago or 2 years ago, I think when he said we have to stop looking for somebody that you lose and then say their career is over. All the great heavyweights have lost. Now you got to find a way to come back and get back your belts. That's what makes boxing amazing. The greatest sport there is next to, I'm a football fan, Baltimore Ravens football fan, but to me, there's nothing like seeing a heavyweight fight. Forget the UFC, forget the middleweights, all that, great names and the heavyweight division, man. So many historic people. It feels like it's back. Finally, the heavyweight division in boxing is back. I mean, my goodness, man. I mean, poetic storyline, man. I mean, you have Deontay Wilder. He's in Africa right now. You're talking about the trainers. Foreman wants to help him. All these people want to help him, man. This is great stuff. Mike Tyson, um, you know, probably in Fury's ear. They have a great relationship. Great stuff, man. All the belts are in the UK. But anyway, back to what I was saying. It's like now that Fury and AJ have lost, it makes it like the stakes aren't so high. And now we get to really see who was the best because they have nothing to lose. Now they have nothing to lose. That the pressure is off. They don't have to worry about the Mayweather record. They're not going to. Deontay Wilder talked all that shit about I'm going to be the greatest and all that stuff. No, you're not. You may be the greatest knockout artist, you know, in your era. But again, you're fighting different fighters. Let's see how you respond to the ones who beat you. Then you could talk about who's the greatest. I think you're only going to be the greatest when you fight people who are just as great as you. And you don't know that they're just as great as you unless they can beat you. That's a fact. That's a fact. How do we know how great Ali was? Because he fought people who were literally on certain nights were better than him. And he had to find a way to come back and beat them in historic fashion. That's what makes him great. What made Mayweather so great is that he fought everybody and called on everybody and whooped the hell out of them. Only certain people can do that. That doesn't take away his greatness because he didn't lose, and that doesn't make him less great because he it wouldn't have made him less great if he lost. You get what I'm saying? I think that sometimes we measure greatness by uh unrealistic caliber, where it's like, wait a minute, man, there's different ways to see who's the greatest in that era. Whether you fight, you gotta fight everybody. You gotta fight who's in front of you. You can't run. And at the same time, if you do lose, fight them again and fight the rest of the people and see how you respond and coming back. And if you worked on your game, then you would say, yo, he was a great fighter. He handled his adversity, responded well, got better, and dominated the rest of the time. That's still a great fighter. But I love it. I love where it's at right now. So, now Fury has the belt, the lineal champion. He's the what? I want to say WBO. He's the WBO champion, the lineal champion. And then you have the IBF Anthony Joshua, the WBA Anthony Joshua. Uh yeah. No, WBC is Tyson Fury and the WBO is Anthony Joshua. So he has three belts. Now you have Ortiz, Dillian Whyte. You have Fury, Wilder, Anthony Joshua. Right? Great fights. Now you have Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. Should be a cakewalk. Should be a cakewalk. I can't wait to see the fight, but we have this coronavirus, so we're gonna see what's going to happen with that. Um, we have Alexander Usyk getting ready to fight. Do I need to see what Alexander Usyk's going to do with this fight. I don't think he's been a challenge yet. He's a cruiserweight. I want to see how his body responds. I want to see the weight he comes in, see if he can handle the heavyweight punches. They're calling him one of the greatest, or if not the greatest cruiserweight ever. I don't think so. I mean, you have Evander Holyfield was a great cruiserweight too, I believe. So we're gonna see how Usyk handles it. Adam Kanaki. Who saw the Adam Kanaki Robert Helenius fight? Another great fight. I mean, Adam Kanaki came in, body shots, body shots, body shots. But he didn't have no defense. Same with Deontay Wilder. His defense was atrocious. I think Deontay Wilder lost because people say, oh, he didn't have nothing. He wasn't boxing. Deontay Wilder to me didn't lose because of his boxing. He lost with his ability to stay away from Fury's punches. No matter whether he leaned back or he had his hands up, Fury was just either going around his guard, or when Deontay Wilder leaned back, he was still getting hit. Every time he caught back to throw, Fury was still up in his grill and knew every punch he was getting ready to do. He had a perfect game plan. Robert Helenius, when he fought Adam Kanaki, he was taking punishment. Both of them was. But the problem was Robert Helenius was teeing off on him whenever he had a chance to. And Kanaki had no defense. He had no defense with that and ended up getting knocked out. And that stoppage, that was a knockdown. That was a knockdown. So it was a great fight. I think Robert Helenius is going to get destroyed by anybody else he fights. I don't think he's a great fighter, but I do think he has some power in his hands, though. Then you have Dillian Whyte. Dillian by what's it called, Anthony Joshua. I think before he was getting knocked out, I think it was a pretty decent fight. I think, and he's been talking a lot of shit with Deontay Wilder. I think Deontay Wilder's going to not put him in a coma. I really do. But he's a good fighter, man. I do think that if Deontay Wilder don't train right, he could get knocked out too as the heavyweight division, if you want to be non-biased. But I don't think Dillian Whyte has a shot in hell against Deontay Wilder. But you never know. It could be a Robert Helenius, Adam Kanaki event, knockout. You have Daniel Du Bois. I like Daniel Du Bois. I think he has. I think he's a very talented fighter. I think that you give him a few more fights, he's gonna be knocking on somebody's door. I think he's gonna be a problem if he fights if we give him 3 or 4 more fights against talented, quality people to learn. I think he's gonna be very dangerous in the heavyweight division. Ruiz. I think Ruiz, he had a chance to fight Dillian Whyte. He had a chance to fight Ortiz, and he backed out. I think, and he says that he wants to, dedicate himself to working out and blah, blah. You've been doing it all these years, bro. You've been doing it all these years, and if you don't know yourself, if you can handle the constant strain of working out and getting a new trainer and doing this stuff, man, you're never going to be ready. You're never going to be ready. So I really didn't respect that him ducking those fights and not taking the tough fights. Even like a day before yesterday, I think Ortiz said, why do you need a tune-up fight? Come on, man, we're professionals. Act like a professional. You know what I mean? I didn't really respect that, but I do think that if Andy Ruiz can show that he can stay at 250 and he gets a good trainer who can challenge him and force him to be more disciplined, he's going to be a serious problem for Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. He's going to be a problem because he has a chin. He's not going to go down easy, and he can hit. And he's a very, very fast puncher and a great counter puncher. He has all the tools, man, to be a very, very great fighter. It's just about his discipline. Can he stay disciplined? And I don't think Tyson Fury is going to be around that much longer. You have the glove gate, the board gate, and all these other gates. I think that is there something wrong with the glove? I think so. But at the end of the day, I put it like this. You have Deontay Wilder's trainer sitting right there. Front row. If they're not complaining about the glove, if they're not saying nothing about the glove at the fight, my question is, why didn't they say something? Why weren't they back there when they was getting their gloves and when they was getting taped up? Isn't that their responsibility to be back there? I remember one of the trainers from I forgot who he was, caught somebody cheating with raps, rapping his illegal raps. I mean, Deontay's Wilder team should have been on it. So if they're not on it, I'm not gonna worry about it because now it's like, okay, it's over with. He's a champ. Let's see. Deontay Fury is the champ. Let's see how Deontay Wilder responds. Um, Deontay Wilder training with George. I'm working with George Foreman. I think it's great. I think it's great simply because of this. George Foreman had terrible defense to me. He was slow, got that weird defense, but he was strong on both hands. And he was a workout warrior. I think that problem with Deontay Wilder is in his training camp is they probably became yes men. They probably became yes men and didn't push Deontay Wilder as hard as he could. And not saying he didn't work out hard, but didn't push him hard as he could. I mean, Tyson Fury had a great game plan. Deontay Wilder had no game plan. Obviously, there was somebody who worked out and wanted a little bit more. So I think that giving Deontay Wilder some more tips on training and how to hit hard with just not just the right straight, but that left and working on that left hook, that left straight, that the jab, oh no, and uppercuts. Where's the uppercuts at? Where's the body shots? You don't see a lot of array of punches with Deontay Wilder, and I think that that's somebody. If you bring in somebody else, that I think that should be the number one conversation: is where's the array of punches? How do you hide that right hand? Because it just seemed like Deontay Wilder had a cock, and every time he went to throw it, Fury was ready and knew when he was going to throw it. So he has to learn how to hide it, and not just hide it, not just only worry about the right hand, but learn how to hit with that left and hit very hard with the left. So I do like the move. Obviously, Lennox Lewis would have been another great one. Teach him how to work on that jab, how to work on defense, how to be a big man and be able to move and move in your footwork, and how to apply defensive mindset instead of just being like, hey, if I don't, my overhand don't work, I don't know how to get out of the way and stop somebody else from being the aggressor. I think that's another aspect of Deontay Wilder that he has to learn on. What if somebody else is just bigger and learns how to be the aggressor? Because he's used to being the tallest one. Um, Anthony Joshua, I think he's a great fighter. He can hit. He's a great puncher. I think he's a little stiff, but hey, I think he's a great puncher, man. I think that just like Deontay Wilder, we have to support these black fighters, man, and really go out there and really support them, not only when they lose, but also when they on top. You know what I'm saying? People, oh, Deontay Wilder can fight, but it was the same Deontay Wilder that was like, what, 40, knocking people out, like 40 people out. Wasn't that shit then? So I just think that, we have to be unbiased. And Tyson Fury is an amazing fighter. Is an amazing fighter. Do I think he's a Hall of Fame fighter? Uh, I do think so. I do think so. You give him 2 or 3 title defenses, he was the best in his era. You can't always say, oh, he wasn't the greatest. He couldn't fight against Ali because he's in a different area. He fought who he fought, and he was great. He was more than great. Ty Fury is a damn good fighter, man. You can't take nothing from him, man. I tip my hat to the man. He's a great fighter. I like that he got with the Crunk Gym, and so you can support him too if you want to, man. But me, I'm a Wilder fan. I think that Wilder is somebody who fights for his people. He tries to carry his people, and I don't think that you should abandon him just because he lost. He lost to a talented fighter. He didn't lose to no cupcake. He didn't lose to a Ruiz in the tune-up fight. He lost to somebody that's probably gonna go out on as one of the best fighters there were. So that's different, man. But the heavyweight division is back. I love it. I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do with Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte, I heard like a week ago that said he's more in shape than he's ever is. He's hungrier than he ever been. You can tell he's hungry. He's like a pit bull. He's attacking everybody, especially Deontay Wilder, and it's gonna happen. They're gonna fight. It's gonna come to a head, and we're gonna see who's gonna be the best. But with that said, man, I'm about to end it. Shalom, brothers. Y'all take it easy, man. Y'all get some rest. Y'all stay clean out there. Those grocery stores is they don't have too much shit out there, so get what you can, man. But most importantly, wash your hands and stay safe, man. Peace.